This is awful! Have you seen Polish? Like for real? Have you seen it? Basically every two-letter combination represents one letter, as we do not have the technology to represent one sound with one letter. And even then, did we need to make shit up? Why is an L with a diagonal pronounced Ugh. At least German and Swedish had the decency to just put some funny dots over the vowels, and keep it at that. Mostly. And I've seen those in every schoolbook ever. 10,000. 10,000!
Are you sure about that?
Which is nice and all, but have you tried to write Asmorado in Kultika? Then we can talk. I don't want to always write about how many cows I have. How am I supposed to make some funny memes out of that? I like the vision, but I'm not going to be ripped apart just so they can screw and weld metal parts into my bones to make the sounds needed for this language. Perfection. Simplicity always surveils. And now, time to write something deep and meaningful with it. I guess it needs some more work. Let's make the world's simplest script. Move aside, Tokepona, with your overly complicated script that takes 14 characters to learn. All we need is one singular character to write every word imaginable. Just under us. This is only for the script, not creating words. Have fun in the comments creating words out of this. How to start. We already know that one line is all I'm willing to accept as characters for the script, but somehow I get the feeling that with just that, we get into real big issues really fast. How couldn't I have thought of that? This is brilliant, absolute genius. We simply use a line for our line, so that the line can have more meaning. Now look at us. With just a line, we can make 1, 2, 3 characters. And actually, can we make 6? Just make the line long and short. And wabam! 6 characters. We will only stick to 2 lengths, as with a third, yeah, there's no way you could tell what it is supposed to be. But 6, I don't know. That's like -2 words you can make out of that. I need more.
Sometimes my genius it's almost frightening.
All we use is one line, but suddenly we have 15 characters. But while these are fun, are they too similar? So these, let's cut them out. This now gotta be the most efficient line I've ever seen. Denizens of planet Earth, I hereby announce that you have been chosen to be part of the universal hive mind. Do not fret, all your personality will be saved inside our efficiency computer's efficiency bank, without any problem thanks to a script consisting of only one efficiency line. You may fear that one line is not capable of representing all your culture, but do not fear, the efficiency line is capable of representing 24 characters. I somehow get the feeling that this is no longer just one line. Ach but, that's just the fear, for he does not know the implications of the truth he is speaking. I now wonder in what direction this will be read. We could simply make every word symmetric, and with that would everything read back and forwards be the same. And suddenly I have the feeling I know extremely easily where the sentence starts without a fail, but I still think that it could be quite a daunting task to distinct words. How did I ever doubt the line? It is perfection, it is beauty, it is the ultimate end goal of our life. Of course does it hold the answer to all our questions. That's it. We have now created the perfect script with nothing but a singular line. But aren't all letters just lines put together? Shut up, you heretic, or do you want me to go on a line sage? What we are now missing is how to say singular line. I think we can all agree that vowels are as brilliantly simple as a singular line. So they should be how line, 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 and line is said. And I will die on the hill that R is a vowel, 70% of the time. A trill would also be represented with an R, even if it is completely different sound. But be honest, what word includes the sound R? As we have line and line, should line be the voiced sounds, while line is the unvoiced sounds. It just makes sense to put sounds that only differ by if you voice them next to another. If it looks like a line, line's like a line, and line, it's a t, okay? This is a t, making this d by proxy. K and g, and I will continue to not use stupid English pronunciation of letters. Jut, do we understand us? And that's just an N, so this is therefore an M. But the next one is going to surprise you. P and F. Why? Because this is B and W. You think B turning to W in languages that don't use B happens by pure coincidence? They are basically the same sound, and F is also here, I guess. P, F, P, F, F. Makes sense to my ears. And while we are at it, another strange and unusual pairing, th and v, makes sense. But then we also have x. I think you see the angle I'm shooting here. And because h is also made with the tongue, is at number 4 in this group. That means we have reached the group of funny sounds. H, j, and q. Some outstandingly weird letters, but you know what also is a weird letter? Sh. Well, that's 3. Not anymore. Sh and j feel like a voiced and unvoiced pair, and while qu is not remotely related to h, is w already in an inseparable bond. What we are now missing is y, clicking noises, r, in, every form of tone ever, good. I do not want to have tones be relevant. I hate it, it gives me literal headaches listening to Chinese for prolonged amounts of time. My brain does not like tonal differences. This means we can now write by using nothing but one singular line. All you need to do now is to convince ASCII that this is a very important script that needs to be put in, and you can officially write with it in the comments all your thoughts about line, by using nothing but a singular line. I did it once to create a font for Riastol, to at least when you download that font have the ability to write in that script. But have you seen how stupendously expensive font programs are? Why in the world do I need to pay 100 euro a month for this? Who is buying that? Never in a million years does it pay out. Oh, well, I guess that explains why fonts are so expensive to buy. I know fonts are just vector art, and for a script that uses only a singular line as its only character, surely I could be bothered to create a vector art for that and then turn it into a TTF. Surely I could be bothered to do that. Wait a minute, why is there still more video? I get that there needs to be an outro, but that can't possibly be this long. I wonder if there is some place to use this in. Oh yes, now I see, and it makes sense why it is so simplistic. The script is used by the merfolk, who cannot use ink to write, as ink dissolves in water. Could have guessed that yourself. They used to carve it into stones, as the one thing that doesn't float away, which limited their options of writing. This allowed them to get to the point of being a magic society that dominates the sea. Never underestimate the power of written language. Magical script is fun, but not practical when you have to write in such an environment. There are far too many curves that are impossible to carve, and complex characters just get messy and the waves of water flow. Firicus Aquengard of course knows well of magical script, but that is only due to his upbringing on land. He knows the language of his people only through the ears and eyes of a child. This left him with his unusual manner of speech, reflecting that of the merfolk, but never learned the script belonging to it. He can write simple sentences, but nothing more. It really is a shame that this is the case. I'm sure Miss Felden would be delighted to be able to learn merfolk from him. It would be not uncommon for merfolk to have no understanding of magical script, in its written form that is. The spoken form was still influencing the language of merfolk, and it really does only surprise those that forget that we humans have something not so dissimilar, may it be less extreme. That is what's the difference of having a language influencing others for only 200 years compared to the more than 3,000 years of back and forth influence magical creatures had on another speech does. Miss Felden does always say that the most interesting part is not to look for what is different, but what stayed the same and why. But you have to wonder what else is out there, what type of script use those that cannot speak by the definition of humans, in form of the Ratatoska, who for certain possess the intellect of us, but simply lack the organs necessary for human intelligible speech. And what about dragons, that are so large and solitary that whatever they would write down has to be so simultaneously to be meaningful that it even was worthwhile for those coming by, but also simple enough that there is needed space for a dragon to write it down. They, after all, cannot write it on simple A4 paper. I couldn't even begin to imagine how they are supposed to hold pencils that are that small, not even talking about the absurd fine motoric needed to write that comparatively small. And then there's the language of the hex, something that surpasses all imagination, words that are reality itself, of which only few are known. Now that the witch hunts have killed the entire race of the hex, as the only beings capable of using these magic exclusive symbols that never were written down, are these the only symbols we know to exist. If not more are discovered from the rare people of before the Middle Ages that chronicled hexen magic, and hid it in ways that didn't have it be destroyed together with the hexen. And who knows what else is out there in the wide world. I guess only time can figure that out. But that is what the Fornhan.Ponsan Academy is for. A place where we can teach about the world of magic, not just the spells of magician, but the entirety of the other world next to ours. You have now been exposed to the Fornhan.Ponsan expansion plans. This means you are obligated to subscribe and write a comment. I do not make the rules. Do not hate the messenger, hate the unfair words that created these rules.